In this video, I'm going to talk about why I don't go to conferences and in-person events. I started Interview Connections in 2013, and at that time, I was a new mom. My son was born in 2013, my daughter was born in 2015, and going to in-person events and conferences was a huge part of how I grew Interview Connections, how I expanded my network, how I met people, how I deepened relationships, how I did speaking opportunities. It was huge. And then 2020 hit. We don't need to go into those details, but obviously that is really what halted a lot of in-person networking and events. And then a few years after that, as conferences started to become a thing again and more people were going in person, everyone's like, I love going in person. I love networking. I love traveling. This is so great. I found myself being like, no, I don't want to go to your conference. I don't want to travel to another state. I don't want to take time away from my family. And that's when it hit me. I have no interest in going to in-person events and conferences for business because I am currently in a season of life where my kids are so busy. They are competitive athletes. My daughter does cheer, all-star cheer. My son's a soccer player. We've got backyard chickens. Like it's a busy time. And this for me is not the time when I want to take days away from my family on my own. It's just not. And that might not be the case for you. Literally no judgment, but I wanted to make this video so that everyone who has something that is a slightly higher priority than going on a, multiple day business trip feels heard, because so many people post on social media about the events they're going to, the conferences and the pictures in the airport. And it's like, everyone's going out, but I'm like, I haven't been on an airplane. I haven't been to a conference, and I quite frankly don't want to, because my kids are like, this is a season where I want to be home with them. I don't want to travel. I don't want to take days at a time off. And maybe it was different because when they were younger, and it was like a break from changing diapers, and it didn't feel as big of a deal to leave for a few days because they were just these little chicken nuggets and these little munchkins, and I could just go and then come back, and I got a nice little break. I got to go be with some adults for a while and do my business thing and then come home. But now I really value being home because I'm becoming so much more present to the fact that in 5 years, my son's going to be 16. He'll be driving. It's not going to be that much longer before they're out of the house. And so I just thought, I don't want to go to your event in person if it involves me being away from my family for days at a time. It's just not for me right now. And so that is why I've become so much more grateful for podcast guesting, because podcast guesting still gives me access to what I got from going to in-person events and conferences. The thing that was great about conferences and in-person events was the relationship building, the networking, the visibility to new people, having more people learn about who you are and what you do. And so without that, I love getting interviewed on podcasts, because every time I'm on a podcast, I'm having this deep time conversation, like the type of conversation at a networking event, at a cocktail party, at a conference, where you can really get deep with someone and talk and get to know each other. I can do that on a podcast interview, in the green room chat, on the actual interview. Speaking in a breakout room at a conference where you have 100 people in the room. I mean, that would be amazing. A lot of these breakout rooms have 50 people in the room, and you're thrilled. When you're on a podcast, you have hundreds, if not thousands of people who are hearing you speak. So podcast guesting gives me, as a mom of two busy elementary, middle school age kids, the ability to still network, to still build relationships, to still get visibility to my target audience without having to leave home for days at a time away from my family. So if this resonates with you, maybe you have kids, maybe you just have social anxiety and you don't want to go to conferences. You want the ability to still network and grow your business and get visibility in the safety of your home, in the comfort of your home. Or maybe you're a caregiver, you have a spouse who really needs you, or an aging parent, and going away is just not an option. Podcast guesting gives you the ability to still network, to build relationships, and to get visibility to dream clients, to speak virtually without having to leave your home. My company, Interview Connections, is the first ever and leading podcast booking agency. We work with hundreds of entrepreneurs to help them get placed on the correct podcast for their business, while also we coach you on how to monetize. So if this video resonated with you and you want to get booked on podcasts, you feel like this is the missing link in how you're growing and networking, then I invite you to reach out to us, book a call at interviewconnections.com. Link below is in the description of this video. I would love to hop on a call and answer your questions and see if working with us is the right fit for you.